Welcome to the second in a series of 4 podcasts, and welcome to the magnificent island of Madeira and the town of Camara de Lobos. I probably said this wrong, but never mind, we'll find out later. My name is Mark Thomas, and I'm going to be guiding our 3 guests through the theme and indeed the question, who is a remote worker, a digital nomad these days? These podcasts are part of the URBACT project under the banner of Remote-IT URBACT, an EU program for sustainable urban development, offers European cities a platform for learning and sharing experience to enhance their ability to develop and implement urban solutions. By forming networks on specific urban challenges, URBACT promotes cooperation and idea exchange through partner cities. It builds local stakeholder skills in designing and executing integrated participating policies and knowledge and best practices. The Remote IT network, part of the URBACT program, focuses on the future of work, particularly the impact of hybrid and remote work on sustainable urban development. So, are many of us unaware that we are actually working remotely? Who is a digital nomad and who is a remote worker? To help us unravel these questions and to dive into more depth, we have 3 guests with us today. Thank you firstly, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Firstly, we have Jelka Tepšić from Dubrovnik, Croatia. In fact, the deputy mayor of Dubrovnik. She has had a distinguished career in tourism, firstly in the private sector before becoming the director of the Dubrovnik Tourist Board, and then on to her current role as the deputy mayor. She has also been a strong advocate for the digital nomad movement in Dubrovnik. Secondly, we have Bárbara Sabino. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, that's
Sabino,
correct.
well done, me.
Yeah.
From local, you're local, yes?
Yes.
Funchal?
So, Funchal.
Funchal, okay. She is a marketing and strategy consultant and marketing and communication manager at ARDITI.
ARDITI.
ARDITI, a regional agency of R&D, technology and innovation, and recently completed a master's thesis focused on remote work, especially focused on digital nomads. Her research concentrated on both the positive and negative impacts, there are negative impacts, of this demographic, including issues like gentrification, and offers suggestions to address these challenges. Last but by no means least, right over there, we have Jaime Ruiz Huescar.
Jaime Ruiz Huescar. It's a bit tricky.
Yeah, a bit would be an understatement. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm going to call you Jaime from now on. You're from Murcia in Spain, yes? Jaime is the co-founder of the Cities Forum, leading its branches in Spain and Colombia, and managing international projects on sustainable urban mobility and smart cities. He previously coordinated smart cities projects and electric mobility for the Murcia City Council, and is an expert evaluator for the European Commission on electric mobility. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome on and
Welcome.
Welcome on and all. Welcome on. So firstly, just to break the ice, so this is a question for all of you. Can you tell me a fact or indeed a fun fact about digital nomads in your city? We can start with
the fun fact, or the very positive fact actually, is that last month Dubrovnik was ranked as 16th best digital nomad destination according to British company Savills, which is a great acknowledgement for Dubrovnik, and also for 2023 the research performed by the Nomad List already mentioned.
Yes.
The Croatia was declared as the best digital nomad destination globally, of course. Regarding Dubrovnik, if we speak about what we did in Dubrovnik, we can mention the digital nomad pass, the new co-working space financed by the tourism office of Dubrovnik, the Dubrovnik long stay website, which addresses 2 digital nomads specifically, etc., combining with the all activities and programs performed by the state of Croatia and Dubrovnik itself. It's quite a lot, let's say, which was done to establish Croatia as a nomad-friendly destination.
So Dubrovnik is ranking quite high according to this recent research. That's good news, going in the right direction. Bárbara, fun fact, break the ice.
Yeah, Madeira, in 2021 at Ponta de Sol, there was created a digital nomad village.
Yeah.
This village reached the 70,000 registrations and reached 139 countries. So placing Madeira in one of the top destinations for remote workers.
One question I have. So you said you reached 70,000 people, we got like 5,000 people. So
Yeah, because
how does this work? You're paying for them to come, or what's the story?
No, we didn't receive them all because the village is
It's
small,
too small.
and we had the COVID restrictions. So some of them couldn't come. And I don't know if they could actually come, 70,000 people to Ponta de Sol in a year. I don't know if that would be feasible.
Is this Ponta de Sol, is this a big place, small place? What's it?
Small place, smaller than Camara de Lobos.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
Yeah, it's the main village. The main village is
And this is still today the hotspot for digital nomads on
Madeira
the
in
island.
general. Right now it's
Yes.
Madeira in general. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in Murcia, even though we cannot be considered as a very famous destination for digital nomads, I think the city is getting momentum in this aspect because of two interesting things. Because of the nightlife, and because of the music festivals that we have. This is, let's say, the peak of the theme, the topic. But below, we can say that we have a very affordable. It's a very affordable city.
Okay.
Certainly.
Accommodation affordable for nomads.
Yes.
Remote workers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Compared to, let's say, competitor cities like Malaga, Valencia, Alicante, that are quite famous in terms of as touristic destinations, now also for digital nomads. But Murcia has some strengths that I think the city is taking advantage from. I think over the coming years, we are going to see how digital nomads will start coming to Murcia more than to other cities because of that reasons, because of it is very attractive for millennials. For that, because we have, let's say, a very nice environment. It's a very vivid city, very livable as well.
You compared yourself to like local Alicante, Malaga. So are these local cities, are they attracting nomads like Malaga or like Alicante? Are they?
Yeah.
Are they stealing nomads from Murcia?
Absolutely. Malaga has been ranked as the most livable city in the world, the third.
Nicest.
Alicante and Malaga are ranking at the highest top of livable cities in the world for many reasons. There are some huge technology companies like Google that are investing in Malaga, in data centers and co-working spaces. You know, they are creating a real ecosystem for digital nomads. And it's very difficult to compete with that kind of investment.
Wow. Did you say Google are creating co-working spaces?
You know, they are creating like a proper environment for digital nomads.
Yeah.
And in the tech industry in Malaga, I'm talking about cybersecurity experts, programmers, that kind of jobs. So at this point, we cannot compete with that kind of.
Well, no, it's not so easy to compete against Google.
But you have other strengths, so.
Exactly, yeah. Murcia is way more affordable than Malaga. You can rent an apartment for 600 euros or even less.
Really?
If you share the apartment with another guy, you can, live. You can save quite a lot of money compared to other cities.
Okay, let's get back on track. Question number one. That was a break in the ice. You've broken the ice like right down to the sea.
Yeah.
There's too much ice breaking there. Jelka, how do you believe the profile of a typical digital nomad has evolved over the past decade? And can you share this, and can you relate this to the work that you have accomplished in Dubrovnik? How has this whole movement of digital nomads changed, and how has Dubrovnik followed this changing?
Yeah, it's Dubrovnik started 4 years ago. It's not, we cannot speak about decades in Dubrovnik dealing with digital nomad market or society. We started during the pandemics as the moment when we found like a new solution for tourism development or the diversification of our tourism offer, because digital nomads are not typical tourists. Everybody knows what digital nomad used to be, at least. So that was a project started with a conference and then moved on with the program for some 15 digital nomads who were invited to join us in Dubrovnik and to participate, to work themselves, but also to participate in different workshops and design thinking workshops, actually, trying to help us as a destination to improve, to have a better offer, to adjust offer, let's say, or to improve with what we already have. So we found out back then that the cattle is a very important moment for every digital nomad. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
So, but basically what we learned was that digital nomads back in 4 years ago, or already 5 years ago, were mostly freelance workers, young people who were trying to maybe have more fun than during their work and change destination, travel a lot, etc., etc. What we learned almost immediately was that that's on the unique demographics within digital nomads, that there are more families and more professionals who wanted to create a kind of new life within the different destinations. So we faced the situation where people were coming with families and they were not, it was not easy to meet their expectations due to the moment that we don't have foreign languages school.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
We
Yeah.
do have some kindergartens, but that's not the regular type of kindergarten. So it's a kind of the moment where remote workers are, we all are, actually. Yeah. We all are. Just a few days ago I met with my friend, she lives in Australia, but she came to Dubrovnik, but she was working all the time, so she has... She is a remote worker, although she's on her annual leave.
It's normalized, right?
Because everybody is
We're all remote working now, yes.
During the morning, yes. But what's important nowadays, it's of course the high quality technology and that infrastructure which allows you to work remotely on a high level and top secure way.
One thing I want to say, two things probably. So the digital nomad movement in Dubrovnik was kind of, in a way, motivated by the pandemic.
In a way.
Yes, yes. So literally 4 years later, we find ourselves in a situation where Dubrovnik is like featuring on a list of the top.
Yeah.
So that's quite an impressive jump in a short period of time.
You know that
Yes.
it's hard work, and we worked really, really hard on putting Dubrovnik on the list, which is easy and difficult at the same time. Dubrovnik is very popular as a tourism destination, cultural city, this upscale, whatever, very popular. You know that we are really on the top of every world list of tourism destinations. At the same time, what our local government tried to do is to change the direction of tourism development and to follow sustainable goals as much as possible. That's what we are doing constantly since 2017. And the Digital Nomad project was actually perfectly fit in with it.
The rest of that project.
Goals.
Yes. Bárbara, so yeah, pretty much the same question for you. But when I was reading your intro, I mentioned there's positives and negatives.
Yeah.
So does Madeira have a longer history of digital nomad work than Dubrovnik? And what are the positive and negative things that you've seen?
So Madeira started with the high impact for digital nomads was in 2020, but before that, it already had some
But that's again,
remote workers.
okay.
It didn't exist. The name existed, but digital nomads was not the brand that it is today.
So again, it was in some ways the pandemic that kind of
Boosted everything up, yeah.
Okay.
But as I said, my experience is my opinion is a little bit bittersweet. If you ask someone else, probably they will say everything is amazing.
I'm not asking someone else.
So, on one hand, you have the digital nomads. They are this demographic that are romanticized as young, beautiful, energetic, that want to party, that want to meet other people. They care for sustainability practice. They care for the local economy, and they care a lot about community. And
now tell me the reality.
Yeah, and the other hand, we have a growing discomfort from among locals, because this is rising the cost of living. The housing and general cost of living, and the difference of salaries of the payments are very different. Portugal from digital nomads is like 3 or 5x the amount. It's nice to explore this tourism. Madeira gains in some way with that, in a lot of ways. But there is this
so
behind.
You're saying that it's like the same thing that's been happening recently, like in Barcelona and on the Menorca, that the tourists coming, or in this case, this is a specialized group of tourists, as digital nomads, that they're pushing up the rent prices for the local people to a level that they can't afford.
Yeah,
because people would prefer to rent to digital nomads for.
Of course,
more money.
If you have a house for rent, who do you prefer to rent it? For a person that will pay 500, or for a person that will pay 3 times more?
Yes. So what's like the local tourist boards, and what's their kind of strategy towards that?
I don't believe right now there is an actual strategy, but I do believe I can speak about this and make this an awareness in some way, because not everything is beautiful. And actually, it's not just the renting, it's actually the buying, because some digital nomads love Madeira as other tourists, and they start buying houses here. And all the construction being made right now is being made towards this target. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So these cranes that we see around the island, you think
most of them are luxury buildings and for a specific target.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Murcia?
I think we haven't reached to that point where digital nomads become a hassle or have a negative impact. Honestly, I don't think any, let's say, bad side of the coin with digital nomads in Murcia so far. The city is working in creating a strategy as Madeira, but certainly we have good conditions to attract more digital nomads because of Murcia has a lot of potential that haven't been explored
realized.
Yeah. For instance, the weather, the quality of life, the food, the leisure offer. So this hasn't been showcased by now. And I think if the city is capable to create a persistent campaign in media, above all in social networks.
Yes, it's important.
Yeah, the number of digital nomads will rocket during the coming years. This is one of the problems of Murcia. The city hasn't marketed itself as digital nomad destination.
They have marketed, did you say?
Not yet.
Oh, they haven't? Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So I'm confident if Murcia is capable to create bespoke strategy for the city, given visibility to all these strengths, I think we would compete with any other famous destination.
How is your winter tourism? Do you have like winter tourism through the winter months, or is it like on and off switch?
We have a very seasonable tourism.
Yeah.
You're asking about the
No, I'm thinking out loud. I'm thinking could you attract digital nomads to fill a hole in your winter tourism if you don't have guests in the winter? Could that be? Do you have too many tourists in the summer? As another question.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This is good remark. Murthy should focus on a specific season over the year and try to attract digital nomads. You know, to fill the gap that tourism is making in the, for instance, in winter time, because we have a warmer weather than in the north of Europe.
What's the temperature in like November, December?
25, 22, 23 the maximum.
Was good.
Yeah, it's good. Good weather.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes, of course.
Maybe I missed to mention that actually what was in the background of our digital nomad project was the fact that we were having the idea of making Dubrovnik as a winter destination for digital nomads more attractive.
Yes.
Not the summer months or the springtime or autumn. That was the idea actually, to have more of them during the winter time when it's actually lack of tourists. Hopefully not this year, but the pandemic was really no one in Dubrovnik in winter time.
Okay, for full disclosure, we both live in the same city, so I have some understanding of. And yes, if you looked at our figures, although it's hard to gather information on nomads, because 90% of the digital nomads who come to Dubrovnik are members of, or are coming from a European Union country, and hence they don't need a visa. But if you looked at the figures as much as you can do, then the majority of our nomads in Dubrovnik or in the south of Croatia would start to come from October onwards and then leave in April, May probably. Yeah, we don't have the same. Bárbara, you talking, or rather, Jaime was talking about Google. What kind of industries, in your experience on Madeira, what kind of industries are these remote workers or digital nomads coming from? Is it tech-based or is it a wide spectrum?
I actually had access to the digital nomad village data. And one of the questions they asked on the application was the profession of the digital nomads coming in.
My ears are like this big at the moment. Yes.
It's IT sector, of course. So IT, designers, marketeers, and interestingly, psychologists. Yeah.
Psychologists?
And
life coaches, we have them as well. Life coaches and that type of
they do consults online.
Have them during our project.
I mean, how many psychologists are you talking about? We're talking about.
Of course, I don't know the exact numbers, but of course there are many other professions, entrepreneurs as well, freelancers. But this is the main sectors.
In Dubrovnik, we did have some creative industries like freelance photographers, content makers, etc.
Yeah.
Different type of.
And would you say that's
when I said marketeers, was the digital marketeers that they also work.
Would you say that percentage has stayed the same in this?
I think most of them are from the IT sector.
From the
IT
sector.
I would say I'm talking like randomly, but I would say it's like 50% are from the IT.
And what about, do you have like homegrown, not nomads, but homegrown remote workers?
Remote workers we have, and it's growing. People searching for jobs elsewhere, working from Madeira. Yes, actually, my boyfriend is a remote worker. For instance,
really?
Yeah, he is. He's working for a company in Dubai. Yeah, which has its services on Africa. Yeah.
Jeez, so he's remote.
Yeah, remote.
Has he ever been to Dubai?
No.
There you go. He's a perfect remote worker.
Yeah. And like him, there is a lot of friends of mine that also work remotely. On the building I'm in, the R&D building of ARDITI, we also have Startup Madeira. And they have also a few remote workers there working for other countries, like the US, for instance.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Homegrown remote workers.
Yes.
Jaime, how do digital nomads find community and social connections whilst on the move? Don't just say social media. Or you can say social media.
Well, I think in most cases, or in certain cases, they are suggested by other digital nomads to visit a destination. So somehow this is spread by word of mouth.
Okay. So this is the clash of the titans. You have digital nomads using old school sitting for a coffee and word of mouth. I like that. That's analog meets digital world. That's the
Yes, exactly. And I think there are some interesting benefits of co-working spaces because they can provide digital nomads a connection with local workers. I mean, with startups and freelancers, local freelancers. So that way they can easily connect with other people with similar interests, similar age.
Yes.
That is a good way to enrich the experience of a digital nomad locally.
Tell me about I'm, again, for full disclosure, directly involved with a co-working space in Dubrovnik. Tell me about your co-working spaces in Murcia. How do they work? How do they function? Who pays for them?
Well,
are they state-run? Are they public? Is it public-private venture?
There's a brand new one called Meetup that is placed at the heart of Murcia, in the old district, that was funded by the local Chamber of Commerce. And it's been aimed at local startups, local freelancers, entrepreneurs, but also for digital nomads. So you just have to apply to have to get a space, physical space in this co-working, and the requirements are quite flexible. You know, it is an initiative that is working really well, and I've been there a couple of times, visiting some collaborators or old friends, because I was curious about how things work in that.
So do people pay to use this, or is it free?
Yeah, they pay a low fare.
Okay.
A very affordable fare. And they can enjoy the space for a certain period of time. I can't remember 6 months or 9 months.
Oh.
They can, again, after that you can reapply to get the...
so it's like subsidized by the local
Yes.
government or authority, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different type of co-working space.
Yes.
Regularly spread around.
Yes.
You come and you pay for a few hours.
For a few hours, yes.
It and then working there.
Do you have these kind of co-working spaces as well in Murcia? Do you have like the show up and can I use it's like rent a desk kind of things?
Of course. They are privately operated, and of course you can pay a rent and you can have shared space or specific office, small office for you, depending on how much you pay, and you can enjoy quite a lot of benefits, like in the public co-working space. It's different, and I would suggest to try both.
Yes.
To compare the benefits of both options.
Apart from this Ponta del Sol, do you have these like in the other parts of the island co-working spaces?
Ponta del Sol has a co-working space that is semi-publicly held. I believe it's. I'm not sure, but I believe it's free. Their strategy was, okay, you have this space, you work here for free with the fast Wi-Fi and the electrical plugs near tables.
Yeah.
And you should consume nearby. So you live nearby and you consume here
you're going to have
local
a coffee,
businesses.
you're going to have something to eat,
Yeah.
pizza or whatever, and then you're going to make money.
And in Funchal, you have a few private co-working spaces, yes.
Yes. Private owned.
Private owned.
I have a quick remark. I have a friend of mine is making use of these private co-working spaces in Murcia. He's 44 years old. He's an engineer in automation for the industry. And he's not interested in connecting with other people, honestly. He's just interested in the services he get for their rental. Like, you know, a pretty decent and cool office with a printer, with a meeting room.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of things. So there are many different profiles in a co-working space.
Yes. Yeah, it's really, I mean, there's many different profiles with digital nomads. It's really hard to put your finger on who is a digital nomad. This can be a family, these can be older, younger. This is a complete mix. Some of them wants to mix with other people. Some of them don't want to speak to other people.
Yeah.
Some people want to do their work and just leave me alone. Some people want to use the co-working space as a hub to meet other people, yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody
but I actually, sorry, on my research, I had the same perspective as you, and I thought that most of them didn't want a community. And I found out that they need and they want a community. Even the introverts one, they sometimes like to know what other people are doing and to connect with others and locals as well. And that was an interesting find.
Yeah, I mean, to maybe not so much with a remote worker, but to want to be a digital nomad, to pick up your life and then move 3 months to another, you have to have you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody wants to do that.
No, and the research says that they only live up to that lifestyle for a year, then they get tired and settle in
Burnout. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if burnout, but tired from traveling.
Some of them continually do it. They just move from one.
Yeah, of course. Some
but still they need some company, and that's
the reason
why they are following what's happening in the destination, trying to make some connections with locals, etc. They cannot be all alone all the time.
Yeah, and most of them are single, so they don't have things attached, and. If they are families, they are looking to live actually and to stay, have schools here, and probably learn the language even.
Yes, that's a big thing. Yes, yes, learning the local language, especially if they're staying for a longer period of time. Spanish, okay. Portuguese, okay. Croatian, maybe not so easy. Believe me, as somebody who's learned it, it takes a lot of time.
But there are a lot of people speaking English.
Yes.
Croatia is really good with foreign languages.
Yeah, and with this whole globalization, probably the English will be even more universal.
It's called Globish now. They changed it. It's not English anymore. It's Globish. It's like I don't know, a simplified version. I mean, English is pretty simple anyway, but it's a simplified version of English. So you don't use all these phrases, all these things. You use for present, present, now, yesterday, tomorrow. That's it. Just 4 tenses. It's Globish.
Yeah.
It's a bit boring, but okay, everyone understands you, and that's the main thing.